You talked about technology-assisted translation, translating telephones, closed captioned eyeglasses, and so on. Do you think we're any closer now to accurate real-time translation technology?
Yes, definitely. One of the things that's changed is we now have these very large databases of Rosetta Stone texts. So we have texts of the same material in 2 different languages in very extensive databases. And we're finding that developing systems where we don't tell the system the rules of how to translate from one language to another, but let pattern recognition algorithms actually discover those rules in these very large databases, create a more subtle, more accurate set of rules. So, for example, Google recently created an English to Arabic and Arabic to English translator from these very large Rosetta Stone texts. Not only won the DARPA competition, but it apparently compared favorably to human professional translators.
Wow.
And interestingly, nobody on the team spoke a word of Arabic. So, and that's being applied to other languages as well. So language translation is actually improving quite a bit. And we have pretty good speech recognition. That's come a long way. And people very often I run into their impression of the quality of that is from having tried it 5 or 6 years ago, and if they've tried the latest version. The best is actually from a company called Nuance, which used to be Kurzweil Computer Products. And they now have a combination of the Kurzweil Applied Intelligence and Dragon technology combined, and it's actually quite accurate. And speech synthesis is also sounds quite natural, and there's been a lot of work on prosodics.
One of the major issues for educators nowadays is what some call global awareness. You've spoken about that a little bit already, helping today's students, especially Americans, understand and prepare for a global economy and accelerating linguistic and cultural diversity. What do you think schools should be doing in that regard? How do you see technology affecting?
Well, first of all, I agree with your premise. This is becoming one world culture, one world economy. There's a lot of talk about outsourcing. I think that's like trying to sweep back the ocean. It is a fact of life, and it's really a beneficial thing that Chinese or Indian engineer is creating value for the whole world. It's not a zero-sum game. The more knowledge we have, the more knowledge that's being contributed to around the world, the better off we all are. I think schools should encourage communication with people around the world, social networks and different communities that are springing up on the web that encourage communication with people in other, from other cultures and other countries is a very positive phenomenon. And to really master the technology, it's become the case that the students are more sophisticated in the technology rather than the professors and the administration of schools and colleges. But I think actually this is an important part of education to enable students to become aware of all the tools that are available. They may not necessarily pick up the most sophisticated ways of doing this on their own, and create educational situations where they're communicating with kids in France and Nigeria. And then, of course, languages is important. I mean, we are making progress in language translation, but having language skills on your own is, of course, going to facilitate that kind of cross-cultural communication.
You've written about a technological singularity that will occur in this century. 2045, I think, is the last prediction I heard. In fact, you devoted a whole book. The singularity is near to that topic, but can you summarize for our audience what you mean by the singularity and describe its primary implications for education?
Well, there's a few underlying themes that have to be described. One is that information technology is growing exponentially. It's doubling its power every year. And it's true of computers, but it's also true of software. It's true of every other aspect of information technology. And we are ultimately going to gain the hardware, the computational power to simulate the human brain. And we're also going to gain the software of how the human brain works. From scanning the human brain, we now actually can see individual interneural connections in the brain for the first time. The spatial resolution of brain scanning is doubling every year. And the amount of information we're gaining about the brain is doubling every year. And we're actually showing we can turn that profusion of data into working models and simulations, where we can actually describe how a brain region works in precise mathematical terms and simulate it in a computer. That's been done already for 20 regions of the brain out of the several hundred that exist. So by the late 2020s, we'll be able to have a computer system and a software system that is powerful enough in both the hardware and software sense to simulate human intelligence. It's then going to grow exponentially. And it's not an alien invasion of intelligent machines from out there to compete with us. It's actually emerging from within our civilization, and we're going to literally merge with that technology. For example, intelligent nanobots, blood cell-sized robots that have computers in them will be keeping us healthy from inside. They'll go inside our brain and basically be like a neural implant that's massively distributed, interacting intimately with our biological neurons, and directly expanding human intelligence. If you go out to 2045, this non-biological portion of our intelligence, which we're literally going to merge with, will be 1 billion times more powerful than our biological intelligence. And that's such a profound transformation that it's hard to see past that. So the word singularity is borrowing a metaphor from physics, where you have a point of extreme density and there's an event horizon around a physics black hole. And it's very hard to see past the event horizon because all the information is stuck inside the black hole because of the extreme gravity. So if we apply that metaphor to this historical singularity, the transformation is so profound that it's hard to see past this transformation. But I think we can use our rational faculties to describe what life is like beyond the event horizon in physics, and we can do the same thing here with this historical singularity. And what will happen is we're going to continue having this exponential explosion of knowledge and our ability to deal with greater levels of knowledge with more and more intelligent capability to master knowledge. That's really the unique attribute of the human civilization. No other species creates knowledge and it passes down from one generation to another.
The ESN TV interview with Ray Kurzweil continues in part 3.